doing great. How are you this morning?
Let me recognize Matt for something here. And the last time Matt was on, Amy, you weren't here.
Nope.
Yeah.
No. It was my first time seeing you. I mean, other than I didn't realize how tall you were. So when you were in the green room, I mean, I've heard Bobby talk about how you play basketball and you're tall, but I mean, you're tall. Like when I looked back in the room, I'm like,
6'7".
oh, is that? Yeah. I mean, that's like the tallest person I know.
Well, and I'd like to recognize Matt because he did play college basketball, but then he came over to the house and played ball, and I beat him.
Oh.
And so I just like to say that out loud. Do you remember that? Remember
Yeah.
that was a good day, wasn't it?
Yeah, that was a great day.
Thank you.
Anyway, I noticed that on your arm you have a bunch of things tattooed that really mean a lot to you. You might ought to think about getting that day tattooed.
Yeah, I think so.
On that arm as well.
It's a real achievement day for me.
Mm-hmm.
It was a new court. I get it. You come over, you're intimidated by my prowess.
You won fair and square.
That's it. And it wasn't straight up basketball.
Right, clarify.
We played knockout, where you shoot and have to get the rebound, that kind of thing.
Right. He wasn't guarding you.
Right. Correct.
He's lucky he wasn't guarding me.
Okay.
Hey, I saw that you were picked for the New Faces of Country show.
Yeah.
That's a big deal in country music.
Man, it was really, really cool. You know, I was actually at that show last year and watching my buddy Jimmy play up there and a bunch of other folks. And, man, it's really special. And, yeah, man, country radio has meant everything to me. So that's really excited, really looking forward to that.
How long are your jeans? What size is that?
Probably like I'm going to say like a 36-ish inseam.
Can you go into a store and buy jeans?
Not typically. It depends now because like kind of depending on the pant, you know, high waters are kind of cool in some respects, which would have been really nice when I was in like high school or junior high. I would have loved for it to have been cool back then, but I have a hard time getting shoes and jeans off the shelf, yeah.
Oh, what size is your foot?
Okay. All right. Now
Here
we've
we
gone
go.
into a whole new area.
Like a 14.
See, it's a special order. That's crazy. You have to shop at Big and Tall.
Yeah, the thing about big and tall is they're much more big than they are tall in those stores. And, like the section for like, you know, tall folks is pretty small, but yeah, you know, you can find them on the internet. That's another great thing about now is you can find it.
I don't want to hit this too much about him being tall, but Amy did bring it up. I used to have a Jeep, okay?
Uh-huh.
And I would drive the Jeep, and people would always wave if they had a Jeep. It's the Jeep wave.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Do tall people do that with like fist bumps? If like you see somebody else really tall in the mall, are you like, hey, bud, I got you. Boom. And we can't
Represent.
even see because it's above our heads.
Correct.
Like we probably don't, it's not even in our line of sight.
Yeah, it's sort of like an eye contact thing. I
Yeah.
noticed that actually when the last show we played before things shut down was in New York, and there was a dude standing. He was singing every word to the songs, but he was like head and shoulders above everybody, tall. And I watched him being really, really cognizant of that because when I'm at shows, like I have to stand kind of in the back or against the wall, or else I'm gonna ruin somebody's night, you know, for a show. So this dude, I noticed he was doing that, and I sent him a couple beers out to the crowd, and just was like, hey man, I appreciate what you're doing. I know you're singing every word, but I appreciate you not, you know, ruining everybody's time by being yourself. Up here, but
Matt Stell is here. Let's go back to the first one, Prayed for You. I'm gonna have you play this a little bit, but let me say a little bit about this song. Whenever it was first played for me, you were basically an independent artist.
mm-hmm.
It wasn't like many of the success stories in Nashville where a big label goes out, finds somebody, grooms them, has them ready, launches this big campaign. That didn't happen with you.
Mm-hmm.
You were this guy that I knew from Arkansas, and first I'm like, oh, cool, I'm from Arkansas. Like I'm gonna pay attention to this guy a little more.
Mm-hmm.
Who was on this, like, how would you describe the kind of deal you were on? Like a distribution deal?
Honestly, I had a publishing deal. I just signed a publishing deal, and my publisher and I made an EP.
So you were just writing songs, getting paid to write songs.
I was getting paid to write songs, and the hope for me was I wanted to write songs for big artists and just make my little niche records. And we put out that EP. And it just so happened to have, Prayed for You on it. And, man, we put it out into the world, and it's people started listening to it. And, it's like it's really special, especially you being a songwriter, to watch the song kind of do a lot of that heavy lifting. And then, of course, what ends up happening is then you get people behind you that really believe in what it is. And I've got a great team that does that too and kind of push it across the finish line. But it's when we started out, it was just a song and a guitar and a guy that can't buy jeans in a store.
Right, and that's what I wanted to recognize is that it's not the story of a lot of these artists who are good and somebody says you're the one. You had to do this yourself.
I did it for myself for a long time, and then I, really when it started to take off was when I partnered up with my.
All right, Mr. Humble, I'm tired of you. Let's just play the dang song. All right, I'm just telling you, there's something special with this
car
Matt
handle
Stell
good.
guy.
I'd like to thank my teammates.
I know you moved to town to write songs, but I know you were hustling, playing shows as an artist, in Arkansas and then around, kind of the Southeast. Why move here to just write songs if the goal was to be an artist?
Well, I kind of was trying to have my cake and eat it too. I always knew that I was going to make records regardless of if anybody cared about them or not. I love that. But I thought I would just kind of do that, follow my muse, and I would have sort of that world. And then, a lot of my heroes kind of did that and do that. Like Daryl Scott's a songwriter that I love, who I actually just got to meet last week. But, he's got this whole life and career of like him doing an artist thing, and then he's written these, huge songs and stuff like that. And that was always appealing to me. And that's really what I went in thinking, and that was like the goal. And I had no idea that, it's so cliche, but one song could just change your life, and that song changed my life almost overnight.
And Matt is no dum-dum. You might look at him and go, what a dum-dum. Yeah, I'm telling you right now, Matt Stell is no dum-dum.
Oh, I didn't look at him and think that.
Oh, okay. Well, good. So let's talk about this, and then we're gonna come back and play another number one for us. But so you graduate high school. Where?
Nemo Vista High School, Conway County, Arkansas.
Pretty proud of that.
Yeah, only wet county around.
Nice.
Used
People
to
had to
be, now
drive to
not.
your county to get alcohol.
That's right. That's right.
My county was dry down in Arkadelphia, Arkansas. We had to drive to Garland County. I say we. I mostly did the driving because I didn't drink. But we had to drive 40 minutes to get beer because it was a dry county.
Yep. There's some counties around us now that are wet, but we were the wet county for a lot of that part of the state. So we're really proud of that.
You go to college where?
I went to Drury University.
You play basketball there?
I hooped there at Drury. Yep.
Did you graduate?
I did graduate.
All right. After that, what happened?
With
school?
With school, I went to Arkansas to get a master's degree while I was learning how to play guitar.
Did you get that?
I did.
I mean, this is my point.
I know.
One, he's way too humble, and two, he's got a freaking master's degree up here.
Master's in?
Communication.
Master's is master's.
So did you want to do something in communication, or really just?
Really, no. I mean, yes.
I mean, I guess you are. In
I
a way.
thought for but I thought for a minute I was really doing like rhetorical studies, more like less like mass comm type stuff for inside baseball there. But I thought I was going to maybe go into academia. I thought I would maybe get a degree in cultural studies or American studies and write and teach and do those kinds of things. But I spent enough time around like academic departments, and I was at that point getting a little bit busy playing music, and I was like, I'll come back to that maybe later. So
I deem him the smartest man in country music.
Okay.
that is not the case.
That's what I'm saying. I'm leaving it here. So Prayed For You goes number one, big hit. You got to put out that second song, and you're like, oh boy, am I going to be a one-hit wonder? That's got to be the question.
Well, yes and no. That was a question sort of looking back. But at that point, as we talked about before, all of that Pray For You stuff kind of happened sort of out of nowhere. So I didn't have any expectations. I felt like I was playing with house money at that point. And I was like, well, I was writing songs that I thought were cool. So the next thing we put out, the team will help figure out what else is, maybe cool. But I really didn't really feel that pressure because, again, like I didn't have expectations going into it. Now, as the song is going up the chart and I know what to expect, then I did start to feel a little bit of pressure on that one. But yeah, luckily we rang the bell on this one.
You guys check out Matt Stell. Obviously, I'm a big fan. Hey, did your mom really get upset at the tattoo?
Oh, she was real mad.
What tattoo?
Yeah, I got a tattoo on.
Oh yeah, we talked about it.
Yeah, on my buddy's 10th anniversary, they threw this huge party in Vegas, and one thing led to another, and a tattoo like artist came over, and they did like 30 tattoos that night, including one for me. And yeah, Mom was not too happy.
And the one they did for you was?
It's a quote from Galileo. It says, it's just basically, and yet it moves, but in the Italian. So, yeah.
It could have been worse. There was a guy that got busted in Florida for, I think, robbing a place, and he had the Florida tattoo in between his eyes, like in between his eyebrows. It was the state of Florida. Huh. I mean, I have the state of Arkansas on my arm, but I can always put a sleeve over it.
Right. You can't really put a sleeve over your
your forehead.
Yeah, like of all the places to have you think with a mask now, you could get away with a lot, but not on your forehead.
I was thinking about you because I do think you're the wisest guy in country music. And are you a Socrates fan? Because maybe you could put, I am the wisest man alive, for I know one thing, that I know nothing.
Yeah. I can tell you this, if I did that, if my mother would want that font to be like 0.5 point so nobody could see it. But
I think it looked great on your neck, but what do I know?
How old are you?
36.
Okay. I just think it's sweet you're still concerned about what your mom thinks about what you're putting on your
How many artists have you
body.
asked how old are you, just in general?
I was curious because he's
How old
like,
are you?
I'm 39. I'll be 40 very soon. But I was just curious. Like, I think it's, Did you consider your mom before you got it in Vegas?
I did, but at that point I was like, well, I'm 36. So
there you go. See?
That's what Amy's got a couple tattoos.
I do.
Show her the Naked Sailor. Show him the Naked Sailor.
Not here.
Okay, Matt Stell. Follow him at Matt Stell Music. Thank you. Rampage, a guitar player. Good to see you. Great job. Thank you. Yeah, you're welcome. He has a few words.
Yes.
He said, thank you. That was it?
Yeah.
He has done his part. All right, there he is, Matt Stell. Matt, good to see you.
It's a Bobby Bones show.